Welcome back. In this section, we're going to go over solutions to linear equations. This will be section 3.2. So for this section, we're going to start using the x's and the y's and think of them as two-dimensional. So if we choose a random equation, we have 2x plus y is equal to 3. Now we need to know either the x value or the y value in order to solve this. So I'm going to choose that x for this particular one is equal to 0. Now I would just substitute the 0 in for the x. So I will change this to 2 times 0 plus y is equal to 3. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus y is 3. The 0 just basically disappears. So that means if x is equal to 0, then y is equal to 3. And if I write this in an ordered pair, the x would be the 0 and the y would be 3. Now if I continued on with this, and I'll use the same formula, then this time I'm going to say that x is equal to 3. So I'm going to use the exact same formula. Only thing, I'm going to substitute in the 3 for the x. So that's going to be 2 times 3 plus y is equal to 3. Then I'm going to solve it just like any equations. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus y is equal to 3. And I have to get letters on one side, numbers on the other. So basically, I have to use the opposite. So that's going to be a negative 6 to both sides. That allows that to just disappear. The y slides down. Positive and a negative. Remember, if it doesn't have a sign, it's implied to be positive. These two don't match, so I subtract. 6 minus 3 is going to give me 3. The 6 is the bigger number. It's negative. So for this particular one, it will be y is equal to negative 3. So if I'm graphing this or putting down my ordered pair, it will be x is equal to 3 and y will be equal to negative 3. Now, what these eventually allow you to do is make a line when you graph them out. But in other words, we can use anything to test it. So in this particular one, we're going to just pick a random equation, 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. So in this particular one, we're going to need to know what 3 ordered pairs are. So for this particular one, they give you certain information. And remember, the x is on the left and the y is always on the right. So for this particular one, we are just going to solve what we have information for. Slide that over so I can get them all in. So in this particular one, the 0 is equal, x is equal to 0. And this one, they just give us the y value. Remember, the y is the one on the right. And for the last one, they give us the x value. So basically what we're trying to figure out is what is the y value for this one, the x value for this one, and the y value for that one. Now generally what I do is I just label these because it's a lot easier. X on the left, y is on the right. That allows me to kind of keep it straight. So now, in order to fill these in, I just substitute those in. In this particular one, x is going to be equal to 0. We kind of did one similar to that, but I'm going to just substitute x in here. So that's going to be 2 times 0 plus 3y is equal to 6. 2 times 0 is 0, so that basically just disappears. 3y is equal to 6, which means I either divide by 3 because it's a whole number. That's the easiest instead of multiplying by the reciprocal. And so y is going to be equal to 2. So then I just fill in the 2, and that ordered pair is 0 and 2. For the next one, I'm going to substitute in the y. So that's just a little bit different here. It's just going to allow us to work on that a little bit better. So for this particular one, I'm going to substitute in the y for 1. So this is going to be 2x plus 3 times 1, which is now equal to y, is equal to 6. So 3 times 1 is going to give me 3. And remember, letters on one side, numbers on the other, solve it just like any equation. If that's a positive 3, I need to use a negative 3 to both sides. 6 minus 3 is 3. And the 2x comes down. Now, in this particular one, it looks like we're going to have a fraction, but that's fine. Fractions happen in life. We're going to divide both of them by 2, and remember that allows that to disappear, and that just becomes x is equal to 3 over 2. So for this particular one, x will be equal to 3 over 2. Now that equals to 1.5, but you can leave it in the fraction of 3 over 2. And for the last one, we're going to solve the same way. We're just going to substitute that in. 2 times 3. All we're doing is substituting the 3 in here for the x, plus 3y is equal to 6. And 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3y is equal to 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. It allows this one to disappear. Considering that's the same value, then that's going to leave that at 0. And remember, any number times 0 is 0. So this last one will be y is equal to 0. So I would just substitute that in. And that's how you do the ordered pairs.